Alrighty. Welcome everyone. We haven't had a lot of people show up, but we're going to record this anyways, as if everybody was here. So just so you don't miss out before the end of the sign up period. This session is all about helping you try to feel more comfortable and more confident um, to be able to submit a session proposal for True North Dreaming 26. And whether it is going to be your very first time that you are going to present, or if you have presented before, but you're never, or you've at least tried to apply to present and you're not quite sure what, um, if you're missing anything, hopefully we can give you some of the tools and encouragement and support to help you to take that next step. So, why what our goals are today is to help you turn some of your ideas into a proposal, share some of our tips of what makes a great True North Dreaming talk or a talk at any dreaming event, um, answer any of the questions you may have, and just to remind you that everyone does have a story that is worth sharing. So, what is it about dreaming events that are different from other events? First of all, it is these events happen by the community for the community. It is not, well, we have sponsors and everything. Um, it is basically put on by a group of volunteers who want to do this just to share their own knowledge and to invite other people to share their knowledge with people in a local community. We get speakers from all sorts of backgrounds and levels, all sorts of different roles and companies. And we do really prefer more real world type of stories over the perfect slides that you may get at a larger event, such as Dreamforce or TDX. And a lot of the dreaming events, one of the big things is making connections with other people, uh, learning from other people, and inspiration. And Yancy, what
Yeah,
do you have something to add to that?
yeah. I just wanted to add, while you're not looking for perfect slides, we would like to see complete slides. Um, I've seen people present and come up a little short and just kind of talk over the fact they didn't finish their slides. So, remembering that's the thing is it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to still present professionally, just like you would if you were doing a discovery call or something like that. You want to make sure that you have something representing your topics.
Good point. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so what are some of the reasons you should try to speak at True North Dreaming? Uh, you could share something that you've learned in your day-to-day work life or even on your journey to becoming a Salesforce professional. Um, it will help you build both skills and your confidence. Sometimes just even preparing to do a presentation, you learn so much just getting all that information together. Um, it's a way to give back to the community supports you and you can learn from the community, but it's also a way for you to share your knowledge with the community. You also grow your network and, but quite frankly, it's a lot of fun too. Though maybe also feeling a little scary, it is fun in the long run. Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. Um, so some of the themes and tracks that we have for True North Dreaming 26 is we didn't go strictly on the roles or in the different divisions. So we're sort of doing the theme of admin and builder. Um, that is, the people who help implement and put together and run an org. The architect and technical, so the developers, the architects, who help um, oversee everything. We have a section for nonprofits and education. Um, because especially with our group, we have a lot of people who work in the nonprofit, so that is very dear to our hearts. Career and community, so these are sort of more the soft skills or just the way you work within the community and things for diversity, inclusion, and accessibility, including, UX design and how all these things can be included and affected. And then, of course, we can't forget all the automations. So we're including Agent Force and all the AI and automation in the ecosystem. But we're also including in that Slack is now a big thing with the Agent Force and Tableau, and of course, MuleSoft and marketing. We can't forget those as well. And even though, you know, we have this marketing here, um, and all these other things, it doesn't mean that Slack, Tableau, MuleSoft, and marketing can't fit into some of the other themes as well. And you will find that some of them will overlap. You may not, and don't, but I mean, as much as we have these themes and tracks, don't stress about which is the perfect fit for your session because they will overlap. So what you do is you choose what feels closest, and the content team will help you align where the topics actually should belong. So, if you're not quite sure what you should talk about, here are some suggested topics. Um, you don't have to take them exactly like this, but just to give you hopefully some ideas. Things like lessons from my first flow. Um, I do know that my first presentation that I ever did was basically going into an org where somebody had built 4 flows, and I actually combined the 4 flows into a more efficient single flow. So that is an idea of something you created or something you had to work on. Uh, Maybe you're on your way to becoming an architect and you started off as an admin, and you could describe what your journey is and what have, some of the lessons you've learned there. Um, with Agent Force and AI, how was your very first AI agent? What lessons did you learn? I know somebody who they basically got their org and built their first Agent Force agent, and all within like about a month. I mean, that doesn't happen with everybody, but you could say what happened when you did yours. Um, Making marketing cloud work, or one of the various marketing things, how you make it efficient and how it's helped your business, and finding your voice in your community, how you have grown in the community or how the community has helped you grow in both your network and in your career. And I'm sure just, even some of these ideas, you can also look at our past sessions that we have on our website. Um, just reading through the titles of some of them, you don't even necessarily have to know what they were about, but even just reading through the titles may give you some ideas of other topics you could do. And the best talks do come from experience. if it helped you, it could help someone else. Um, so it's better to have something that's a real story in your life or rather than a perfect demo. Yancy,
Yeah, I just wanted to add, when I first looked at this slide, a couple of these look like they could be, names of sitcoms. And I just wanted to throw in there that, your first speaking experience, it should be fun. This is a community event, so we want you to feel like you're coming in to enjoy yourself. Be professional, obviously, but um, this is a smaller audience. um, have fun with it. Have fun with your titles. Like in the previous slide, we want your title to be, clear and concise, but at the same time, you can have a little fun with it. It does make you feel a little more comfortable when you're already having fun with the audience before you even step up to the plate.
yeah. One thing I did learn, when you apply to say Dreamforce and that, one of the things they do suggest is start with an action word. May not always work, but you know, that could also help you give you the idea of like unlock or, you know, I don't know, unlock is the only one I can think of right now. But so what makes for a great proposal? A clear but short title. Sometimes titles can get a little long, but you know, try to keep it short and concise. Keep your abstract focused. You could get away with trying to basically give away your whole presentation in your abstract. You don't need to do that. Keep it focused on exactly what your topic is and how it will help, which leads us to the audience and who are you aiming your submission for, and what kind of takeaways can your audience expect to have. And be authentic because if you believe in what you're talking about, other people will believe you as well. And, if you share what you want to share and why it matters, people will respond much better to that. Yancy,
To carry on a little bit about, like was mentioned, the clear short titles. You want to make sure that you want to try to convey what you're presenting. I have seen titles that and then walked into a session and it not be what I was expecting. Granted, that's probably my fault for not following through and really reading the abstract, but um, you should be able to glean what your point is through the title.
so avoid some of these common pitfalls. Titles that are too vague, like let's talk about data. What does that mean? Like, what exactly do you want to talk about? Um, your abstract, as I mentioned it on the previous slide, don't make it an essay. It should be just short and sweet. Uh, be clear on who your audience is. Yes, sometimes there are some items that are fairly general and aren't for any very specific audience. But if that's the case, say so. And, you know, the content team will help you make sure it gets the right tags on it. Um, don't try to put in too much information. If you're applying for, say, a 20-minute session, don't give us an hour's worth of material because you won't cover it. And, you know, people will feel frustrated that they didn't get the best sense of all of it. And make sure to include your why on why you are passionate about this particular topic, why you think it would be something that will be helpful to others, and all the other whys that will give the audience value. Okay, so How to submit. Submitting your proposal is actually fairly straightforward. Um, we have a form. It's not an overly complicated form, but it will ask you a lot of information. Uh, do remember, we're not expecting you to have your completed slide deck when you submit your proposal. You can submit, your potential title and abstract, and you will have a few months to get it all prepared. And if you need help with that, there will be people who can do that. But just remember the dates. The submissions are open until November 30th. Uh, you can find the online form at truenorthdreaming.com on the call for speakers page, which will also give you some of the highlights here. You are welcome to submit more than one. You do not have to restrict yourself to one. We do have many people who submit three or four um, to various events. So, feel free if you have several topics to try. Um, Make sure to choose your audience, and you will have the option to, like I said, if it sort of covers more than one, you will be able to choose the several different audiences. And then the committee, once the deadline is closed, the committee will be reviewing all the submissions, and they will go through it, and they may keep it exactly the way you submitted it. They may do some changes, but you know, if you don't submit, you can't be chosen. Yancy.
Yeah, on the note of multiple submissions, if you submit four, don't think that you're going to be on the hook for four. If we like all four, then it's probably going to be up to you which you want. I don't think too many people want to do four presentations in a 2-day event. But if that's your cup of tea, then by all means, if we like them, then you're going to be welcome too. But don't be worried about being on the hook for four if you submitted four.
Good point. Okay. So, what will happen next? After you submit, you will get a confirmation email, and I will give you a heads up that as of right now, we are having some email issues that I hope to have solved by tomorrow. But the confirmation email may not come immediately, but you will get it within 12 hours of your submit, or 12 to 18 hours of your submission, because I have to manually track it. Um, the review process will happen in December. We hope to notify speakers in early January, and especially for those who may require a visa, we'll follow up with you, and then we should have, uh, hopefully by the end of January or mid-February, we hope to have the full agenda announced, and so you can uh, advertise that you are speaking at True North Dreaming. So some extra tips from for first-time speakers. When you get selected, Uh, keep your slides simple. You don't need to put every bit of information on them. Just, give the high points, and you can speak to the slide as you do your presentation. Make sure to practice with friends or mentors, or even if you want to do a pre TND presentation with one of your local user groups, that's a great place to practice as well. Um, Plan some audience interactions, even if it's not just the Q&A at the end, but you may ask some questions to sort of help set up your topic at the beginning, or do some sort of quiz. Um, it's up to you what you'd like to do, but sometimes doing the interactions keeps the audience involved. Make sure that when you are on the day of your presentation that you arrive early before your session starts, and make sure to breathe. And don't forget that this is a supportive environment. It's not a competition. Um, Everybody in that room wants to see you succeed. So you may be nervous, but that's normal. Um, and everybody does want you to do well. So don't get too worried about it because they'll support you. Even if you make a mistake, even the best of us make mistakes occasionally. Yancy,
And with that, everybody does want to see you succeed. I've been to many, many events and sat in many sessions. I have yet to see a boo unless the speaker was asking for a boo or a tip or some kind of weird topic or something. But like Kathy was saying, it's your session. Have fun. Nobody but you is going to realize that you missed that, missed a particular sentence or that you wanted to throw in there. Um, it's your session. Enjoy it. Um, I've seen, in my experience, there are two different types of speakers. There are scripters and there are wingers. I fall in the second category where I just mostly follow my basic outline, and I am big on the audience interaction, which is super important. I feel that the sooner that you get the audience interaction, the more relaxed you will get. For me, the hardest slide is my title slide. I think sometimes that I'm going to forget my name. Um, but immediately after that, I try to engage a show of hands for something or other. Whether it's, it could be simple, like, who's got, less than 1 year experience with Salesforce, who's got more than 10 years. But once you start interacting with the audience, it becomes more like an intimate conversation, where you just happen to be doing the bulk of the conversing. I do know scripters. Some people that one particular person I know told me that they rehearsed, you know, every day, a couple times a day, and I I'll be honest, I saw the session and it was just incredible because there's a lot of timing issues. You don't necessarily have to be one or the other. You can be somewhere in between. Um, but the important thing is to remember that everybody in the audience, they're there because they appreciate your knowledge. They want to hear more about this topic, and they're definitely going to support you in every manner they can.
great tips. And that just made me think that, some people use uh, their speaker notes on their slides. Some people still use those, index cards. They're always helpful. I remember my first in-person speaking. I had index cards all over the podium and tried to remember what order they go in. Not sure that was the greatest thing. But hopefully the tips, the things you put in your slide will be enough to also help you, trigger what you are going to say. And on the off chance that you apply, I mean, we do want to try to encourage as many people as possible to apply and to speak. But if for some chance none of your if your one session or several sessions aren't selected, don't give up. Um, the local user groups are always looking for speakers and even try applying to other events. I didn't get accepted the first 3 or 4 times I applied, but now there are even some events I still don't get accepted for. Um, so don't, it's not a reflection on you. Just keep on trying and you will get selected at some point. Sometimes it also happens that several people all sort of submit pretty much the same topic. Um, so sometimes we even suggest that maybe people want to co-present. Or that's also another option is if you are don't feel that you can speak on your own and you want to do it with a co-presenter, feel free. That is a perfectly acceptable way to do a presentation for your first couple of times is to do it with somebody else until you're confident enough to do it on your own. Okay. Our next slide was going to be Q&A, but we don't have anybody to ask us any questions. Oh, but Yancy has something on that.
Well, it's not actually on the Q&A. I could have swore I saw it somewhere in the slides, but um, I would advise, especially for new speakers with or new sessions. And actually, I believe Dreamforce required this year is start with an outline. You may have a topic before you really get too into the app, or you'll have your abstract and an understanding of what you want to do. But it is so easy. And I've done this a few times with a few new sessions. Just you can ask Chat GPT, um, with a quick prompt. For example, create an outline for a 30-minute speaking session about my journey with Salesforce Military. And it will break it down, just like any kind of discovery call that you've probably had with stakeholders. You want your topic. Um, you want to do a little summary and intro topic to your topic. You probably want to hit 3 to 5 points during your session, and then you want to sum it up in a conclusion. I mean, that's pretty standard, but it is absolutely so easy to ask ChatGPT to create an outline for this idea. And then obviously, you're going to prompt to make adjustments, or sometimes just having that outline right there for you, you can see, the ideas that you already had in your mind. You can see, hey, you know what? I need to make these adjustments. This is, that isn't quite how I would want to lay things out. But it is so much easier than having a blank paper.
Absolutely. And I will say that I use ChatGPT to help me get my thoughts in order for even this presentation. So I can concur with that one.
Are you telling me you cheated for these slides?
It's been a rough week. Anyways, um, just make sure stay connected with us. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky, and of course the Trailblazer community. Um, you know, keep on top of the notifications and the reminders. Again, our submissions are due by November 30th, so try not to miss that. You can also reach out to us either on LinkedIn or if you happen to be on our Slack, you, you can reach out to us there to ask questions. And if you want any help, we will probably also have a few people who are willing to mentor uh, new speakers. So if you are really feeling unsure of what to do, don't hesitate. We've had a couple of last year that we basically held their hands to get them through the whole process, and now they have become a regular speaker at events. So, um, you know, we do want to encourage you to apply. So please do so. Um, and don't forget, you can find almost all the information on True North Dreaming on our website at truenorthdreaming.com. It will give you all the links to the call for speakers, for tickets, our blog, and sponsorship. So feel free to do that there. And we're also trying to encourage people to join our various community groups, especially in Canada. So if you are not already part of them, if you scan this QR code, you can find all the different community groups that we could currently find information on there. So you can find your local user group and get, you know, get build your network and find another place that you can actually do presentations. And just as we come to our thank you slide, thank you for listening to us. Um, Yancy, is there anything else you want to add at the end here?
I just want to make sure that people understand that if if they miss this and you're watching the recording, you have questions, we're all available. Reach out through any of the means that Kathy just mentioned. Just reach out, and we definitely want to make sure that you're going to feel successful and enjoy the entire experience. So everybody is here to support and get that done for you.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you very much, Yancy, for all your input. And thank you, everybody. Hopefully, as you read this or watch this, um, it will inspire you to apply. And we look very forward to seeing all of you at True North Dreaming in Toronto in May of 2026. Thank you, everybody, and have a great evening, day, rest of your time. Thank you.